Alright, there's so much things to talk about, and when you look at it, I seemingly could make a lot of talk about President Trump, should I say former President Trump, and of course Joe Biden, but we're not going into any of those things, no form of negativity. So today we're going to talk about 47 things you weren't taught in school that our kids need to know. And while this video won't contain all 47, I'll do about 5. I hope this will inspire you to become your child's own teacher and help them to learn some of these important life skills, because trust me, in this world that they are growing in, your child need every advantage that he or she can have. And we all know that one teacher can make an everlasting impact on a child's life, and I'm sure many of you can think back to your days in school, and I know that you'll have at least one good teacher, if not several, that you still remember to this day. Honestly, I have so many. I think most of my teachers were pretty awesome when I was in high school and in primary school, trust me. And the strange thing is that a child spends more time in class than at home, and the time our children spend in school are very important, especially those developmental years. And there are so many things that should be, but oftentimes they aren't taught in schools. And some would argue that these things should be taught at home, and I agree, but they usually aren't taught there either. And we all know modern living, parents have so much to do. Sometimes some of these soft skills get swept under the carpet, so getting these concepts in the schools is the only way we can ensure that all students are getting this information, especially kids who come from broken homes or homes where parents are, as I just said, too busy to teach their kids, and therefore rely on the school system for support. So a few things before I start. I'm not here to argue about how parents should be spending more time with their kids. That should not be something that I want to go to, and it's not something that you and I can control. But I'm just hoping that you can see that some of these concepts are needed, and we would love to see some of these concepts taught in schools. And if you're a teacher, you can start bringing some of these ideas into your classroom. And of course, there are many amazing teachers out there who break boundaries and do things differently. And I would love those teachers to continue and of course get some ideas from this list. And this disclaimer I'm going to throw out there, I do understand that some of these concepts are taught in some classrooms. I understand that the title may be somewhat misleading, but we both know that it's not true. But at the same time, this article really offers me a lot of freedom where I can just speak on the point that it is not. So I think we can all agree that one, education in these areas need work in our society, and two, kids will benefit from learning these things. And that's the point here. It's not to degrade any individual teacher or school, but of course I'm just throwing it out there. So finally, I want to stay clear of religious and political topics, because while this may be controversial, my only agenda is to make a better future for our kids, and I don't want to lose value by making you think that I had any other motivation behind this. And of course, let's just get straight into it. Alright, so basically I've broken down the categories to make things a bit easier, and of course for you to follow along as I explain things. So the first thing on my agenda is personal finances, and this is very important. Personally, I learned how to balance a checkbook in school, and what the word budget meant I learned, of course, in school. That was it. I've since written less than probably 2 checks in my life, and I've learned what budgeting is. It's highly personal, and hence personal finance I really see the importance of. There are some things I know now that I wish I was taught in schools or probably by my parents, but let's go into it. So the first thing under personal finance, how to budget. And budgeting comes down to living within our means, and most adults were never taught this. How do I know that? And when you look at it, in countries like America, most Americans have, Americans on a whole have well over $3 trillion in total consumer debt. And you see, one of the great things, it's slowly coming off in Jamaica, but learning budgeting is simply a matter of tracking expenses, deciding how much you spend in each area of life and sticking to it. It's an easy concept to teach in schools, and trust me, this life skill will serve well straight into our adult lives. Number 2, under this big topic of personal finances, how compound interest works. And you see, the thing is, of all the financial concepts that should be taught in schools, this one would make the biggest impact on our children's future. Kids need to understand how compound interest works for them and against them. The debt figure, trust me, when sometimes you take out some things, the figure of debt you get yourselves into, trust me, if you really understood compound interest, sometimes you wouldn't even go there. So trust me, it is very important to teach kids that. Number 3, under personal finances, how to save money. This is very touchy, because in saving and investing, pay yourself first is a simple concept where you focus on saving and investing with the first money you receive and then live on the rest. We all know that if we wait and save what's left at the end of the month, there will never be anything left. There will always be more month than money. But if we save first, you'll always find a way to make ends meet. And the sad thing, with the cost of living going sky high, trust me, teaching kids how to save money and why to save, it's very important. Sometimes you can't just leave it up to the imagination, that as you get older you will know how to. Alright, number 4, how to invest. Children should at a minimum understand their options for investing. They need to know about stocks, mutual funds and real estate before a salesman explains these concepts to them. And you see, the thing is, many times we just tell children to save money, but we don't know what money can do for you, or how money can work for you, or how your money can work. So really teaching your kids how to invest at an early age is very important, because you want to get the concept of being financially wise and financially literate at an early age, so that we can explore new boundaries to make money and to invest our time. So I really do believe in this now. And number 5, how credit cards work. And you see, the thing is, credit card rewards are great and many persons love them, trust me, but it's more often the case that credit cards will ruin your life. Statistically speaking, it is true. They are more than capable of doing so, and we all know at least one person in our lifetime, if not many, who have proven this statistic that credit card can ruin your life. And you see, the thing is, many persons just will go to a bank and the bank will be like snake charmers. You know what, you can get a credit card and you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this, but no one will really explain that if you fall back or if you overdo that, this will happen. And unless you're a genius, most persons really don't understand the concept or read the fine print to understand credit card. And sometimes we learn after we make huge mistakes. And of course, this is very important. Number 6, how to avoid debt. I wasn't taught this. And alright, let me be honest. In my experience, yes, I've realized that we have good debts and bad debts. And the thing is that I wasn't taught that debt is in some cases inevitable. It's a must. But I wasn't literally taught how to manage debt, and I really wasn't taught how to avoid debt. So honestly, it is very, very important in this day and age to teach our kids how to manage debt, because while I understand maybe having a mortgage is important, and through this you will know that debt is not really an enemy, but at the same time debt is an enemy. So kids graduate high school thinking they're always going to have a car payment, and that's kind of sad. In reality, that's what the debt industry wants them to think, that you need to have a car, you need to have certain goods, and they will always give you the credit card to go with it, which then equates to debt. And I'm kind of in a groove, so I was going to stop at 6, but let me continue. How insurance works. Growing up, no one really told me anything about insurance, and I was just introduced to it by accident. I was walking through the staff room and someone just approached me, do you want insurance? And I was like, no, I'm too young for that. But insurance is almost as inevitable as taxes. The general rule is if you can't afford to replace it, insure it. Kids need to know that. And emergencies and unexpected events happen, and most Jamaicans can cover an emergency surgery with their savings, and so insurance should be taught before the insurance salesman reaches the kids. So that's typical when they learn about insurance. An insurance salesman is a dangerous teacher and can be dangerous. So at a minimum, the curriculum should explain life insurance, home insurance, renter's insurance, disability insurance, car insurance, because when you look at it, here in Jamaica, we don't have many persons insuring their homes, and Jamaica is in the hurricane belt. We are at risk to get earthquakes. So when you really do look at it, it's sad. And kids need to know the different types of life insurance, the difference between liability and full coverage car insurance, and so on. And most importantly, they need to learn what they need each type of insurance for. And that wasn't taught to me, and I really don't see it being taught. It's just something you learn as an adult, or probably you hear Bridget talking about it, that may have gone through bad, but now is wise enough to know good. So Next thing on the personal finances, how to make large purchases. And you see the thing is, from home and cars to drum sets and even 90-inch 4K TVs, our children will be making large purchases. And they need to come prepared. Even something as simple as teaching children that these large purchases don't have to be financed would be sufficient, because many kids think they do. And you see the thing is, we just talk about car payments, but do kids realize that they can make car payments to themselves? So children should be taught the power of automated savings and investing for that matter. It's easy to save money over a year if you automate a certain amount for a month. So when you do look at it, this one coming up at number 9, I was taught. And the sad thing is that no one can be fully prepared, but how to be prepared for emergencies would be a good thing, because an emergency fund is crucial to our finances. And I don't know of any financial guru who doesn't recommend having an emergency fund. And here in Jamaica, likewise in America, many persons don't have enough in their savings to cover certain expenses in life, and those are the things that we need to kind of teach our kids. And when we teach our kids about that, then we can handle prioritizing. And the sad thing is that credit cards are the most common way I've seen young adults handle emergencies. Well, I'm no longer a young adult anymore, so I've seen a fair share of young adults that the first emergency they have, they take out their credit cards, and sadly, in many cases that I've seen, it come out to be a very toxic solution in the end. So clearly on a roll. So number 10, I think this will be the last. Number 10, how student loan works. And you see, the thing is, many persons call student loan, Lord, I can't bother them, wicked them, that and that. But when you really do look at it, I've gone through student loan 2 times. It's not as bad as how people make it seem. I know if you're not working, they do come like a pest, but when you do look at it, it's necessary. And unless you can get a scholarship or have a rich uncle or something of the sort, student loans are often preached like car payments as unavoidable expenses. And our kids need to understand how student loan works, how long it will take to pay them off, and that they aren't a must-have in life. That's one of the things. So if they can get scholarships, if they can find scholarships, if they can use sports to kind of subset, let them do so, because student loans is not a nice thing. And here's a statistic: student loans total in America, that is $1.5 trillion in 2018. That's an average of $76,468 per student. So imagine that. So when you look at it, as I said, it's good, but if you can avoid it, sure. So while there are some student loan forgiveness programs, yes, I was a beneficiary of that. In general, student loans are the one thing that never goes away, even after bankruptcy is declared. Trust me. Sure, it's possible to get rid of student loans, but it's difficult. and I've never seen it work. And of course, they will always be at you to pay. So again, we need to teach them about it, how it works. Is it important? Can I work and go to school? And trust me, we need to start educating our kids on that. So I will stop at 10, and of course look out for the rest in upcoming videos. And of course, if you like, just subscribe. Thanks for listening, and of course continue to be good, be blessed, and I wish you all the best until we meet again.